Welcome back. Instead of choosing to go through the fog door or the tower, we're going to throw ourselves off of the side and find a bit of a hidden item. Considering that we have access to magic, we don't have much of a reason to obtain the crossbow per se, but I enjoy picking it up simply due to its status as a hidden item. Now that the jerk that was throwing fire bombs near the Dreglings is out of commission, we'll make haste on our way back to where the Blue Eye Knight was. We're going to forego the fog door for now and explore this tower a bit, picking up 6 fire bombs on the way. Though this Dregling was a bit overzealous, he still got the chance to take a few swings at me. His friend was not so lucky. In fact, his friend was kind of a moron. It's a very creative way of warning you of the dangers of the barrels with a red line across their middle, even if it is at the expense of a poor Dregling's life. This tower descends quite far, and Demon Souls is not the most forgiving of games with its fall damage, so we'll have to be careful. These 2 chains stick out like a sore thumb. If you look carefully and follow them, you can see 2 bodies hanging from their ends and strike at them to knock them down towards the beginning of the level. You have to love how the game gives you 6 fire bombs at the top of this tower. At its base there are just stacks and stacks of flammable barrels, making the multitude of enemies surrounding them easy pickings. Here we obtain the Cling Ring, which is honestly something that will pretty much never leave one of our 2 ring slots. It makes it so that we have 75% of our max HP in soul form instead of the regular 50%. It's pretty much invaluable in our case, where most if not all of the game will be played in soul form. Afterwards, we'll loot the 2 bodies that were attached to the chains up above and read the descriptions for the items we get from them. On the first body, we find an armor set and Old Spice, which is an extremely useful MP restoration item. On the second, we find a jade hair ornament. The old ragged robes are made of layers of ragged fabric. It's covered with tears, unsightly open seams, and numerous unsightly insects wriggling within it. No sane person would dare wear something like this. You may notice that beneath the name it says female only, and that's true. Not every armor set has a sex associated with it, but some are exclusive to either male or female, and it's one of the worst parts about this game. I'm very glad that they did away with such restrictions in the Dark Souls series. I didn't show it, but as you can probably tell, this tower was behind one of the gates that was closed off to us when we reached the top of the stairs at the beginning of the stage, marking our very first shortcut. Upon death, open doors still remain open, allowing us a much quicker path up the tower to save us time. Coming down these stairs, if you're paying attention, you can very clearly see a platform with an NPC and a lootable corpse. What the game doesn't show you or even tell you about in any capacity as far as I know is that you can press up against certain walls and have your character simply vault over them in a feature that has never returned after this game. The Thief's Ring's purpose is as simple as its description, and we might as well equip it.
That was a bold jump. A surprise indeed. Well, now that you are here, pray thee, fend off these dreglings.
This well-armored and well-spoken individual requests our assistance in killing the enemies that have entrapped him. What he doesn't share is his ability to defeat said enemies, but that's okay. We just have to nudge him in the right direction. Backstabbing him does do a small bit of damage, but more importantly it knocks him off and forces him to start attacking the enemies, which he does with relative ease. In Demon Souls, harming an NPC doesn't make them hostile towards you unless you pass a certain damage threshold. I believe it's so that you don't accidentally hit someone when setting your controller down and permanently lose access to them.
My thanks for your brave rescue. I am Ostrava of Boletaria. Accept this as a token of my gratitude. Now I must go. There is something for me to take care of. No matter how far I venture, only the soul-starved remain. Is there a single sane person? No matter how far I venture, only the soul-starved remain. Is there a single sane person left in Boletaria?
We learn that the man's name is Ostrava of Boletaria and little else. All that we can confirm from his dialogue is that he is originally from this place that we're in right now, and that he seems to be on some type of journey. It's extremely important that Ostrava survives, not because he's vital to advance the game or anything that dire, but because his survival in this stage decides whether or not we're able to continue his quest line. If we simply leave him be, more likely than not he'll end up dead, and we can't have that. So we'll follow him into this little section to the side. Once again, the game throws you a bone with all of these fire barrels. It's pretty great fun to throw these and unleash an inferno upon the unsuspecting dreglings. We've received items like this before from the area after beating Vanguard, but to go just a bit more in-depth, hardstone and sharpstone shards are used to upgrade weapons that have been set down a certain upgrade path, of which there are many, many options that all change things like which of your character's stats the weapon draws, its damage scaling from, and things like that. In some cases that you'll eventually see, certain weapon upgrade paths can offer passive bonuses like MP or HP regeneration, though their efficacy is debatable. I'm picking up the scimitar here, not necessarily because it's that much of a damage increase, but because it shares a move set with the weapon that we'll be using for the rest of this playthrough. It's mainly just to get myself used to it as early as possible. I always pity my poor PS3 whenever a lot of destruction happens in this game at once. The physics are just a little too much for the game to handle. The path to the left here leads back the way we would have went had we not dropped down to save Ostrava, but we're going to continue up a little bit more before looping back. The level design of Boletaria is something that I find really interesting. It's video gamey, but not in a way that takes you out of the experience. Rather, it somehow manages to be more engaging due to its layout and enemy placement. At the top, another blue-eye knight waits to pounce. was a close one. Not the most optimal time to heal, I will admit. No doubt you'll be seeing a lot of bad decisions like that with varying frequency as we continue. That enemy takes a lot less fall damage than I would have. I'm impressed. These guys are a little too slow to call themselves ambushers. Luckily, since we came around the other way, we were prepared for them even more than need be.
Good day to you. Care to look over my wares? Mostly stolen, but who's telling ye?
This is the Dregling Merchant. He's a respectable chap. In his store we can purchase healing items, fire bombs, etc., as well as a few new weapons and a suit of armor, but we won't need any of them, so let's see what else he has to say.
Be a brave knight or depraved slave, the demons will snatch your soul, then you'll go mad. And those who dare cling to their humanity are hunted down. It is the end of Great Boletaria as we know it. But hell, at least the demons don't send us to our deaths in battle. There's this skinny fella, clad in fabulous armor, who's always mumbling about some mission. He's another one who's managed to stay sane like yourself. Probably some pampered son by the looks of his attire. I'd give an arm just for the buttons off his shirt.
Interestingly, the Dregling Merchant speaks to us of Ostrava, saying that he must be some type of pampered son by the looks of his armor. It'll be a little bit before we do learn more about Ostrava, but it's nice that a missable NPC like this inspires us to make conclusions about him when he's now behind us. Poor guy really dropped the ball on that one. Or should I say the firebomb? As you can see, we've made our way back to the stairs, so let's head back up to where we fought that Blue-Eye Knight. That's a lot of enemies. If only the developers had realized this and put in some kind of easy way to deal with them. You can see a dragon wagging his little tail in the distance, but to our left is the best geographical landmark that the first world of Demon Souls has to offer. It's just very, very neat and easy to admire. Little do you know that these two spearmen are protecting a dark secret. I'll show you after we clumsily dispatch them. right here at the base of the pillar, there seems to be a purple light that comes from absolutely nothing, or at least no light source that I can find. I have absolutely no explanation for this other than it may have been a misplaced lighting item that never got removed. Or maybe I'm just a fool and purple lights at the base of pillars are commonplace in the lore of Boletaria. Either way, it's on the far pillar as well, and I can't wrap my head around it. As you can see, there are actually 2 dragons, but we're not going to pay either of them any mind and run on that ledge to the left. The orange dragon will try to startle us a little, but he can't actually do anything. On these 2 bodies are 2 shards of archstone and some pretty potent healing items. Shards of archstone serve as a way to teleport immediately back to the Nexus with all souls intact. Effectively, it's a not terrible Nexial binding, but very limited in quantity. This long bridge below us is far from mere visual interest. It's actually our 2nd level. Once we pass through that large gate at the top of the stairs at the beginning of this stage, it will lead out into that pathway. This sort of revelation is commonplace in this series, but when I first had the realization myself, I was grinning like an idiot for minutes. Apparently, the dragon didn't deign it worth his effort to try to incinerate us a 2nd time. I mean, we were safe either way, but I appreciate the mercy. Now, I won't lie to you, this bridge is a major pain in the behind. There are so many enemies and you have to kill every single one to progress. Nah, I'm totally kidding. The dragon just destroys everything for you. Once he starts breathing fire like that, however, we have to run back to his home in order to give us ample time to run across the newly de-soldiered bridge. Sadly, the orange dragon's work was a bit sloppy and he left a few, but that's okay. They're easy enough to get past. I do really want those items though, just for completion's sake, so we're going to head a little bit backward to get the dragon to leave, and then run after them. A single firebomb and 2 crescent moongrass. I've had worse looting experiences, I guess. Now onwards to pull the lever and listen to a single Dregling practice his horned instrument of choice. I'm well aware that it's just for atmosphere and an actual track of music, but ever since my first time playing, I can't get enough of the imagery of a single Dregling just off in the corner practicing his trombone a single note at a time. Thanks a lot for watching, and take care.